Hi y'all, I'm Allison back once again to wrap up another month of reading. We're going to do this rapid fire. I'll show you what I was supposed to read, what I got to, what I didn't get to, go over a few basic stats, and then hand out some awards to some notable books of the month. We will also have to deal with that nasty wheel of shame, and at the end I will show you an update on my genre blanket and show you which diamond painting I will be working on through the month of October. So let's get right to it. There's a lot to go over. We'll begin with the lineup. Thanks to all of my TBR games, including Bookopoly, I was supposed to read 23 books for the month, and here's what those were. For Just Spin It, we have Murderers Announced, The Six Wives of Henry VIII, This Wicked Fate, Beyond the Stars, and A Blind Date, 7 Deadly Secrets. For The Sims, I was supposed to read Cake Eater, Cricket Kingdom, Amari and the Great Game, The Big Door Prize, Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters, and Bad Kitty Gets a Bath. For Bookopoly, I added on This Poison Heart, Looking Glass Wars, What the Dickens, Style A for Aunties, The Body Finder, Project Hail Mary, The Murder of Mr. Wickham, and The Vanishing Stare. That's not enough. My extras were for Read Your Bookshelf, The Language of Thorns, TBR Knockout, Had the Final Gambit, and Open for Murder. And then buzzword was Light or Dark. I chose In Another Light. I managed to read 14 of these books with 4,653 pages and listened to 0 audiobook. Didn't have time for that. So out of those 14, 7 were fantasy, 4 mysteries, and 1 each for thriller, historical fiction, and a miscellaneous other. The longest book of the month was Cricket Kingdom with 546 pages. The shortest was Bad Kitty Gets a Bath with 125 pages. Moving on to series, I started 2 new ones, Happy Camper Mysteries and Dangerous Damsels. I made progress in Percy Jackson, Miss Marple, The Grishaverse, and Truly Devious. I finished the Inheritance games and the This Poison Heart duology. And I am all caught up on Supernatural Investigations, also known as Amari. Have to wait for the next book to come out. Please report. I plan to continue with all of the series that I have going on. They are all still incredible. Before we get into all the notable books of the month, let's go ahead and take a quick look at what I didn't even touch. Starting with, once again, The Murder of Mr. Wickham, Wives of Henry VIII, Beyond the Stars, Big Door Prize, Project Hail Mary, The Dark Queen, once again, City of Fallen Angel, Four Aunties and a Wedding, and The Looking Glass Wars. In that list of untouched books was also The Body Finder and 7 Dirty Secrets. Since these both have a spooky vibe to them, I am pushing them into October. Okay, let's get down into the nitty-gritty. My favorite book of the month, we actually have a tie once again, The Final Gambit. So good. And A Murder is Announced. Agatha Christie. It's another home run. My other 5-star reads were Percy Jackson's Sea of Monster, Amari and the Great Game, and Cricket Kingdom. And I actually had a hard DNF. I gave up on Cake Eater at page 89. It's just no. I can do a review of this if y'all are interested. My least favorite book that I actually read for the month was What the Dickens. Books I'll be unhauling, no big surprise, Cake Eater and What the Dickens. Books that had a rough start but were worth pushing through were Mysterious Society of Lady Scoundrels. Kind of had a hard time wrapping my head around the magic at the very beginning. And Open for Murder. This one I had just come out of a reading slump, and there was just a little bit too much of an info dump at the beginning, but the mystery soon picked up, and it was worth it. The best mystery, no surprise here, once again, Miss Marple, Agatha Christie's A Murder is Announced, which also gets most original premise right from the get-go. You've got a murder announced in the classified section, even saying where it's going to happen and at what time. And the book goes from there. So original. The one that definitely would be classified as false advertising would be What the Dickens. Based on what I expected from this book, it was nothing like that, and it greatly affected my reading experience. So the blurb doesn't actually match. The funniest and the most charming book of the month turned out to be the Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels. A lot of humor, a lot of sarcasm, quite witty. It was fun. The one that gave me the most nostalgic vibes would be, of course, A Bad Kitty Gets a Bath, because I read these to my kids when they were younger. Great chapter book. I think the most relaxing book, once I got into it, was Open for Murder. Small town, lots of cozy vibes to this one. The darkest book of the month would have to go to Leigh Bardugo's The Language of Thorns. This one is 4 retellings, very dark, more grim than Disney. Awesome book. One that actually surprised me with the twist in another light. My jaw was on the floor for half of this book. All right, we're reaching the not so fun part. Believe it or not, I actually have to add another book to my October TBR because I did not reach the halfway point from Just Spin It. So let's go update that wheel and see what book I'll be throwing on. Today's October 25th. There's plenty of time. The wheel has been updated and also given a very Halloween vibe. So let's go ahead and give this puppy a spin. See what book I'm going to try to squeeze in for the end of the month. Hoping for something spooky. The Wicked King. All right, so the wheel has spoken. Not quite sure how I feel about that one. At least it's not too long. It does have a supernatural vibe with the Fae, and it will continue a series for me. So on the list for October, it goes. So if you saw my August wrap up, you know I am going to be sharing my bookish crafts from now on in my wrap ups. And we're going to start with my genre blanket. Basically, this is like a temperature blanket, but it shows which genres I have read for the year. Each black line marks a new month, except this double one right here. This is where I started my Sims TBR game because I wanted to see how much influence that would have on my genres from that point. So additions, since the last time I think I had stopped on this white line, I managed to get quite a few more in here. So it's growing slowly. And I think what I will do is do a dedicated video to this so I can explain it a little better to y'all without making this one way long. All right, let's move on to the other thing that I'm doing. Now, I did not listen to any audiobooks during the month of September, which means I did not work on my diamond painting at all. I was doing a dragon one with some books in it, but I'm going to show y'all what I'll be working on in October. This one isn't really book related, but it is holiday related. So here are my kittens. Isn't that awesome? I love it. So there it is from far away. I love this. So hopefully before the end of the month, I will be able to finish it. I will show you what progress I make in November's wrap up. So all right, that was my month of September and a little glimpse on October. If y'all want to know more about these books, be sure and mention it down in the comments and I would be more than happy to give you a video about them. So I do plan to discuss some of these in depth, but for now, we're just going to leave it there. I hope everybody's having an incredible spooky season, and the next time you see me, I should have up November's TBR Games. So until then, have a great one and stay safe, y'all. Bye now.